Hello, good morning, people, and welcome to our first ever recording of the Vantage Point. I'll be your regular anchor, and I'm Neydu Wordsmith Onoha. On the Vantage Point, we'll be talking just about anything that catches our fancy, just about anything, But today we'll be previewing the much anticipated encounter between the Super Eagles of Nigeria and the Chipolopolo of Zambia. The Chipolopolo of Zambia are also known as the Copper Bullets. Today's encounter, today being the 7th day of October 2017, the Super Eagles of Nigeria will be trading tackles against the Zambian national team in a Crunch World Cup qualifier. This is a game that would all but determine, if we gather the maximum 3 points at stake, if Nigeria will be in Russia at the World Cup next year. The game means so much to Nigerians all over the world, talking about soccer-loving Nigerians. And one expects that the Super Eagles will fire on all cylinders and gather the maximum points at stake into this game. First and foremost, the team is brimming with confidence from their last win against the Indomitable Lions of Cameroon in Abuja, and then, of course, the draw they got against the Cameroonians in the return leg in Cameroon. The team skippered by team captain Mikel Obi has breathed a new lease of life, into the team, and the team believe they can go all the way. They can go the whole hog in making sure Nigeria's flag is hoisted at the World Cup next year. So this game, the Zambians have been talking tough. They believe they can, clip the wings of the Eagles and prevent Super Eagles from Nigeria from going to the World Cup next year. The Zambians have a fairly good team, very good team. You must give them credit for what they've done. It looked at some point that they were out of the race when Nigeria went to Zambia at the start of the qualifiers and beat Zambia away. But Zambia has bounced back strongly, and they beat Algeria during the last round of the round robin. They beat Algeria both in Zambia and away in Algeria. So they just breathing down the neck of the Super Eagles in the group in second place. While Nigeria tops the group with 10 points, the Zambians are second on 7 points. So the Super Eagles need to win today. If the Super Eagles win today, they would take their total tally of points to 13 points, leaving the Zambians in 10 points. Leaving the Zambians in 7 points, I beg your pardon. And that would automatically rule the Zambians out of contention for Russia 2018 World Cup. However, if Nigeria plays a draw today with Zambia, Nigeria will go to 11 points and Zambia will be on 8 points. Now, that would be walking a tightrope, because it will mean that we will leave everything till the final game in Algeria in November, the last set of the round robin, and that will be a difficult, that will be a tricky one to do, because you really never can tell if the Algerians want to act as spoilers. So that is why Nigeria has to go the whole hog and get the maximum points today. We can't just wait till November and leave things hanging. Zambia has a very good team. Right from the 94, when they played Nigeria at the AFCON final, I started keeping tabs on the Zambian national team, and they are actually a team that you would underrate at your own peril, at your own detriment. And remember, in 2012 they were African champions. They won the AFCON. They were then tutored by French football teacher Hervé Renard. And they defied all odds and went all the way to win the World Cup, win the African Cup, I beg your pardon, hosted by Gabon and Equatorial Guinea. That team had Kennedy Nwine in goal. Kennedy Nwine is going to be in Nigeria today in Uyo. He's going to be manning goal for the Zambian national team. That team, the defense of that team was led by a certain Stopila Sunzu, great guy, great central defender. Stopila Sunzu presently plays his club football trade with I think Arsenal Tula of Russia. He plays in the Russian Premier League. Sunzu is a great defender, and then in midfield you have Chisamba Lungu. Chisamba Lungu is another guy who he runs things for Zambia, for the Chipolopolo in midfield. So he'll be the one coordinating the strings for the Zambian national team in midfield. Of course, most of the persons who had won the AFCON for them in 2012, some of them have dropped out of their national team reckoning. But take nothing away from the Zambians. They want to come and they want to go to the World Cup in Russia. So let's talk about the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Let's analyze our team and see those who I think, of course, this is my opinion, those who I think should start for Nigeria. In goal, of course, we have 3 goalkeepers in camp. We've got Dela Jiboye from Plateau United. We've got Dan Akpeyi from Russia, from South Africa, I beg your pardon, Chipa United in South Africa, and then Ikechukwu Ezenwa, who was outstanding in the last qualifier against Cameroon and gave us that funny downstep. Ezenwa was imitating this retired Congo DR goalkeeper. What's his name now? I can't remember, the guy with the braids who does that funny downsteps whenever Congo had a goal. So yeah, those are the 3 guys who were in camp for the goalkeeping position. But I would prefer for Ezenwa to start for Nigeria and goal. And then in central defense, I would prefer the combination of the Oyimbo Wall, as they refer to them. Humorously, I'm talking about William Paul Truss-Ekong and Leon Balogun, the man from Mainz in Germany. William Paul Ekong plays for Bursaspor in the Turkish Super League, while Leon Balogun plays his club football trade for Mainz, FSV Mainz in Germany, in the German Bundesliga. At right fullback, Shehu Abdullahi has done incredibly well. The man does business for Anorthosis Famagusta of Cyprus. So yeah, he should retain his berth at right fullback. The place will have a big problem in the Super Eagles selections at the left fullback. Elderson Echejile hasn't been really convincing, so I'm thinking Ola Aina of Hull City should play from there. But the thing that could work against Aina, or the thing most soccer Bob's followers will fear, is that Ola Aina has not gotten, hasn't played African football before. He's not gotten that experience at this stage, and there's a World Cup qualifier. So some persons will say, let's just go to experience rather than gambling and trying someone who's been untested at this stage. But then Ryan Bertrand was untested when he played for Chelsea in the Champions League final against Bayern in 2012. So give Ola Aina a chance at left back. That's what I would do if I was the Super Eagles gaffer. If I were the Super Eagles gaffer. If I was the Super Eagles gaffer, I beg your pardon, General. So Ola Aina, William Ekong, Leon Balogun, and Shehu Abdullahi. Now in midfield, what happens? Alexi Iwobi is back. He missed the Cameroonian game. It's the midfield. It's a funny one. Mikel Obi definitely is a starter. So do you play him up front as a second striker? Just like he's been doing in recent games, and then have Ndidi and Geni Onazi play behind him, or does Mikel drop back and play with Ndidi and then he will be in front of them? But then we're leaving out somebody. John Ogu of Hapoel Beersheba is an exceptional midfielder. He's in camp too. If I was raw, I would start Ogu, Ndidi, and Mikel in front of them. No disrespect to Geni Onazi. I like him so much. I admire him greatly. But he's not an excellent passer of the ball. He's a great spoiler. He can frustrate the opponents. He's a backline midfielder. He's a hard tackler. He marks and all of that. But Onazi is not a very good passer of the ball in comparison to his colleague John Ogu of Hapoel in Israel. So I would rather play John Ogu, Ndidi, and Mikel. Ndidi is a great passer of the ball. We see what he does for Leicester in the English Premiership. So I would have Ndidi, Mikel, Ndidi, Ogu, and then Mikel in front of them. And then up front, I would have, of course, Ndidi plays for Leicester, Ogu plays for Hapoel Beersheba in Israel, and of course Mikel does business for Tianjin Teda in the Chinese Super League. And then up front, of course, from the left side of attack, Victor Moses definitely starts there for me. Or John Igalo will lead the attack here. No questions about that. He proved his mettle again the last time we played Cameroon. Then, of course, Moses Simon Daddy of Ghent in Belgium will play from the right side of attack. Now, I'm thinking that this selection is enough to give Nigeria maximum points today. Who should come in as substitutes? I'm thinking that if we have to remove Igalo at some point, then Anthony Nwakeme of Hapoel Beersheba in Israel should come in. Yeah, Anthony who? That's what you're asking. Anthony Nwakeme. Anthony Nwakeme followed his exploits for Hapoel Beersheba in the Israeli league, and he's done so well, both on the domestic scene and on the European scene. He almost gave Hapoel a Champions League slots, but they narrowly lost it out during the playoffs, and they fell down to the second tier Europa League in Europe. But Nwakeme is a great guy. He's got power, he's got strength, and he's a bully. So he fits the billing in this kind of game, and he plays well. He's got good control of the ball. So I would say Nwakeme should be a sub if Igalo has to go off at any point. Then Iwobi can then come in for Mikel if Mikel is tired, or for Moses Simon Daddy on the right side of attack. So this is what I think Rush will do going into today's game. But of course, he's the boss, he's the gaffer, you know, he's the teacher. So he decides finally who gets the nod. I just hope and pray that come the end of hostilities today at the Godswill Akpabio International Stadium in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State, Nigeria, all Nigerians will in unison rejoice and celebrate Nigeria's tickets to the World Cup next year. You may be asking what happens if we lose. If we lose to this game, it's going to be crazy, because Zambia would catch up with Nigeria on 10 points, and everything will go down to the wire in November, with us going to Algeria, playing Algeria in Algeria, and then Zambia playing Cameroon at home. Nobody wants to go through that horror, you know. A draw, let's just end everything today. Get maximum points today. Go Super Eagles, go. We believe so much in you. The whole of Nigeria is behind you, and we know by the special grace of the Almighty God, victory shall be ours. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Neydu Wordsmith on Facebook, Neydu Wordsmith on Twitter, Neydu Wordsmith on Instagram, Neydu Wordsmith here on YouTube, just everywhere. I'm Neydu Wordsmith. So please follow me on all social media platforms, and God bless you as you do. One love. Bye-bye.